All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Um, Quick introduction. You've got myself, David Hong, SVP of Product here at Guideline, overseeing all of our planning solutions, which encompasses both Media Tools and Lumina. We also have Kayla Coppinger and Stephen Poss. Kayla is on our marketing team, and Stephen is our sales director for North America. So, um, let's just dive right in. Today's session is going to be about something that's really quietly become one of the largest governance challenges inside of global enterprises, and that's in media investment control. And we're talking about an ecosystem that has massive scale and significant dollars, but operates far less with far less oversight rigor. Um, Really, media has moved much faster than governance frameworks have evolved, and that gap is what we're here to address. We'll this session we'll talk about why that gap exists and how it can be closed without slowing business down. Why it matters, right? Let's look at the numbers real quick. Let's start with a quick reality check. Global ad spend is projected to be nearly 1.23 trillion in 2026. That's a lot of money. And at the same time, media planning software itself is growing, and this reflects the expanding complexity that teams are trying to manage across various channels, countries, and markets. And really, what's especially telling is that 80% or more of digital marketers are already using or actively exploring the use of AI to improve their efficiencies. Planners are managing 15 plus channels on average, often across dozens of markets. And over 78% of marketers say real time data is now critical to decision making. This tells us that one, media is no longer static. It's not a static planning exercise, it's dynamic. It's continuing to be automated and it's continuous, it's always on. Therefore, governance can no longer be periodic or manual or after the fact. Really, the scale alone here really has outgrown spreadsheets, PDFs, and email based approvals and approaches. And therefore, governance really hasn't kept up with that complexity. Despite this growth, governance models really haven't evolved at the same pace. Many enterprises still rely on fragmented tools across regions, across agencies, manual handoffs between marketing and finance and procurement, as well as other stakeholders, as well as having retrospective audits. So, audits that come after money has been spent to identify issues months after the spend occurs. And what's the result of all of this? The result is there are blind spots in various stakeholder groups, blind spots in finance where dollars and totals are seen, blind spots in audits where only the outputs, the end results are really seen, and blind spots in procurement, right, where contracts are executed, but the day-to-day execution there's no insight into. And the accountability gap is shifting. The teams that own this new risk, it's shifting to finance, it's shifting to audit and governance organizations who lack oftentimes real-time visibility and real-time control. So what is this session for, really? Not only are we talking about planners and planning teams using various systems and software and applications, we're also speaking to the finance and governance leaders who are responsible for compliance and audits and fiduciary oversight. We're looking at media operations and transformation executives who are tasked with modernizing global workflows, making sure that across an agency or holding company that everyone is following the same workflow, same taxonomy, which ultimately leads to standardized data. And then finally, on the agency and brand leadership, these are senior leaders who are held accountable for transparency as well as investment integrity, bringing that stewardship to their clients' dollars. The common thread here is that everyone is being asked to sign off on outcomes without really having system level confidence. And that is where this governance comes into play. Governance of media is no longer just a marketing problem. It's owned now by finance, as I mentioned, finance and audit leaders who are responsible for the spend integrity, the ops and transformation leaders who are responsible for the various operating models within holding companies, within agencies, within brands, and the brand and agency leadership who are managing risk across regions as well as across various partners. And what the common thread that we've heard is that they're asking for proof. How was this built? Who approved it? What changed? How did this execute? Does this execution still align with the intent and the plan? So looking into the advertising lifecycle, to understand really where governance breaks down, we need to look at the full media lifecycle. And media doesn't really just start with buying. It includes media intelligence, looking at benchmarks, pricing signals, competitive context. It includes planning, the strategy, the allocation, the scenario modeling, the what ifs planning. It also includes media plan management. This is where the governance, the coordination, the controls come into play. And finally, we also have buying and activation. This is where the execution of all of this hard work comes into play. It's where all the dollars get spent and then reconciled. A lot of organizations really spend a lot of time and money in the intelligence side at one end of the spectrum, as well as on the activation tools on the other end of the spectrum. However, it's the middle, the messy middle, I'd like to call it, where media plan management has really been underdeveloped, and it's really the connective tissue between the strategy, the media intelligence, and the spend, the activation and execution. And in this media plan management connective tissue, this is where assumptions live, right? This is where changes can and should be documented. And it's where approvals should be happening. So you have an audit trail. So you have the ability to see who approved this, when it was approved, and how much something was approved for. However, in a lot of cases, a lot of this is still managed through various spreadsheets, multiple spreadsheets for that matter, emails, back and forth email threads, as well as local tools. And that is the governance gap, right? You've got all of these individual stakeholders, all of these individual teams that are all trying to do their best, but you're working with, spreadsheets, emails, tools that one agency in one market uses, but another one doesn't. And how does all of this money get tracked and reported on? So let's talk about the cost here. You have all of this disconnected planning and workflow. The operational reality today is that everybody, media teams especially, are being asked to move much faster day over day, year over year, and with a lot less resources. And they're not only do they have less resources, they're slowed down by fragmented data across various tools and partners, manual workflows for things like approvals and changes, as well as reporting. And then siloed planning that prevents global visibility. You've got individual teams in individual markets that kind of do their own thing. And this impact is truly measurable. The data silos that can lead to delays to time to market, thousands of hours lost annually due to manual reporting, and many many companies don't fully maximize their data value, right? They don't truly get the value of everything that they're pulling in, that they're seeing, and that they're creating. And from a governance lens, all of this fragmentation not just slows things down, but it also increases risk, right? Risk due to decisions that are being made without context, changes that are made without traceability, auditability, performance discussions that are held without shared facts, right? And really, a big question that comes up is, a finance team might ask, why did this money shift? And a lot of the times the answer is, especially on the brand side, let me check with the agency or let me check with X. And through media plan management, we can help bring that unified view together. And the key components to all of this is starting with briefing, right? Standardizing inputs into structured, governable direction, which then leads to proper planning, which is standardized, which is scalable and used across multiple markets, multiple regions, which then feed into the approvals and authorizations workflow, right? Which all have embedded controls. This all lives within a single platform, as opposed to individual email chains or a signed PDF that lives on someone's desktop or even a phone call. And through all of this, there is the connectivity with media plan management. The platform allows for seamless integration with finance, with media, and various BI systems. So now you have that flywheel effect where you start with the briefing, you end with all of this data being populated in a single platform, fed back into the finance teams, into the media teams, into the business intelligence teams, which then can go back to confirm, did the inputs lead to the expected outcomes? If not, where was that disconnect? Um, this really shows that governance is not a feature. It's not, a simple checkbox. It's truly part of the workflow, because at every step of the way, you've got something built in that allows for checks and balances and audits. And so what does modern governance look like within our complex media ecosystem? You can think of governance as moving from answering the question of, did this comply, to, is this still aligned right now? And it rests really on four pillars. The automation and use of AI, oversight really needs to move at the same speed at which optimizations occur. Meaning, if optimizations happen on a daily basis, there needs to be that same daily visibility into what is happening. That oversight needs to happen just as quickly, if not faster. Continuous oversight, which allows for real-time control. No more periodic audits, no more reactive reporting. It's real-time data, providing that control feedback mechanism. This then leads to financial discipline. You're able to quantify inefficiency, validating decisions before money is spent, and managing cross-market risk. And finally, audit-ready planning. Everything has embedded documentation, version control, and traceability. This is the governance framework that we're speaking to today. And really, it's a shift from trusting an individual to trusting the system, right? If you've got a good, strong, solid system in place, you can then move that oversight from an individual into this new system and workflow. So I'm going to move into core capabilities for media plan management platform. At the core, we have capabilities on the media plan management side that look like, or that include forecasting and tracking budgets continuously through reporting. We have role-based access and security controls, which allow people to see what they're supposed to see and not see what they're not supposed to see. Full audit trails and version history. I've mentioned that time and time again. And then standardized taxonomy, right? This kind of goes back to the fact that you have a lot of teams that work across different regions, different markets, and being able to standardize taxonomy across regions, across markets, allows you to bring a cleaner standard data set for automated reporting, which then feeds back into that governance flywheel and allows for reporting to be sent to finance when they need it or as soon as they need it. The media teams can see how things are pacing in real time. And finally, built-in currency to align across global markets. Not only does the platform ingest multiple currencies, but there's also the capability to do conversions. You can convert from one currency to another or roll up all plans into a single currency if you want to look at it from a USD perspective, let's say, or a Euro perspective. You can do that as long as you bring your own currency conversion numbers. Operationally, this enables templating for consistency, cloning for rapid iteration. No longer do you have to create a plan from scratch each and every time. This allows for pre-approved vendors and channels, right? Again, going back to the standardized taxonomy and the oversight. If a product or a client only allows for certain vendors to be used or certain channels to be used, those can be set as business rules in the platform. And finally, automated calculations. I know everyone can make a mistake typing in a number, typing in the calculation, kind of increases that chance for human error. So automating some of those calculations really reduces that human error impact. And this is really what audit ready by design looks like. The platform was built with audit capabilities in mind, hence the versioning, hence the standardization, hence the approval and authorization workflows that are built into the platform. But really, governance doesn't just stop at inputting a plan or planning. It really requires visibility, and reporting brings that visibility to the forefront. Our platform allows for customizable reports by plan, brand, market, or product. Our reporting allows for month-over-month or year-over-year comparisons. And we allow for scheduled delivery to various stakeholders and easy export capabilities to finance and BI tools. This reporting now becomes the shared truth. The reports are consistent across regions and markets because the underlying data is structured and governed by the platform. This, again, allows media teams and finance teams to look at the same data and to see the same thing and make a decision together. And finally, how do we bring this to scale? And we do that with automation. With automation, actuals are ingested on a daily basis across 30 or more digital platforms that we have connections into. Data flows automatically into a client's warehouse or BI tools through our external APIs. Goals are sent directly to activation platforms, and more duplicative work can be eliminated. So this is where always on and efficiency come together. No more spending time reconciling and tracking across multiple spreadsheets. You have all of this in a single platform. And talking about AI, this is where really this helps become a governance asset. AI becomes a governance asset through our data quality agent, which standardizes inputs into a single source of truth. Our plan checker agent validates plans against market benchmarks and market intelligence before plans are sent for approval. And finally, through our AI-assisted ingestion agent, which converts spreadsheets and conversations into these structured plans, minimizing the manual data entry on the end of a media planner. At the end of the day, this is guideline. We are not just a planning tool. We are purpose-built for modern media operations. We're the governance layer across markets, across partners. We are the system of record for media intent and execution. And we're the control framework that allows for finance and auditing, marketing, and procurement to share, to be able to see the same data across the various teams. Our focus is really helping various enterprises and various companies to embed oversight into everyday workflows and maintain audit readiness at all times, and really allow for marketing speed to align with financial discipline. We help organizations reframe media planning as enterprise governance. We can engage with finance and procurement leaders and operational and transformation teams, and we can help move from reactive audits to continuous assurance. So, and with that, thank you, and I'm happy to open this up for any discussion. Let's see. Any questions? No questions, Kayla?
Thank you so much, David. So actually, we do have a few questions that have come in. And one of our first questions here is, when it comes to reporting in a platform like this, what level of granularity can reports generate?
Yeah, great question. So our reporting capabilities, reports can go down to the daily or weekly level, or it can go up to the yearly level. Like I mentioned in a previous slide, a lot of clients look at things from a month-to-month basis or on a year-over-year variance perspective. But we do have the ability in our reporting to drill down into the week or the day in a given month to see how much is being planned versus how much is actually being spent, and what the KPIs are for that week or for that month. So we can go as granular as daily, we can go all the way up to the yearly level.
And kind of speaking from that, we wanted some of our guests wanted to know, when it comes to reporting in a platform like this, what would best practices be for, let's say, agencies that plan at the local level, for a large QSR or automotive brand, but they'll need to see a more holistic view of all those plans?
Yeah, absolutely. So great question. Really, our flow charting capabilities, which is what a lot of agencies use us for in addition to reporting, flow charting can be done at whatever granularity a client or an agency wants to plan in, right? If somebody wants to plan at the daily level, you can go ahead and plan at the daily level. You can also plan higher level, weekly, monthly, quarterly, or even yearly. And if you want to be able to roll these up into a holistic view, you can do that with in two ways. One, if you want to just look at it from the flowchart perspective, i.e., what kind of with all the boxes and colors and all of that, you can roll it up into a master plan. But if you're looking for reporting, you want to roll all of this, you want to roll all this data into a kind of year-end report. You can do that in the reporting module. You can roll up all of the plans that you've created and report on that again at the daily level. You can look at it from the weekly level all the way up to the yearly level. So you've got two ways to do that, right? You can look at it um, again at the plan flowchart level. You can roll that up into a master plan, or at the reporting or in the reporting perspective, you can kind of report on whatever granularity uh, across however many plans you want to look at. You can also kind of take the the holistic view and then break it down into the vendor level perspective, right? Let's say you took all the plans that you created over the course of 2025 and you wanted to see how much did I spend on programmatic versus social. And if you want to drill down deeper, how much did I spend on Facebook versus TikTok? Through all of that data standardization that I spoke about earlier, you can now do that in our reporting platform. You can see how much did we spend or plan to spend on Facebook? How much did we plan to spend on TikTok? You don't have to worry about Facebook showing up as Facebook and Meta and FB, right? It's all standardized, and that governance is maintained, and now you can see everything shows up under, let's call it Meta, right? All the spend is rolled up into a single line that says Meta, and this is how much you spent over the course of 2025.
Perfect. Thank you, David. And I'd say everyone keep those Q&A questions coming on in. I've got a few more for you, David, if you're up for it. So we have, how would a platform like this address an agency that is planning in multiple countries and multiple currencies?
Yeah, that's a great question. Again, very flexible, very customizable in how you use our platform. But plans can be created however you like. You can create them on a per country basis. You can create them in you know a currency basis if you'd like. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if you want to plan in multiple currencies in a single plan, you can do that. And if you want to roll up all of those multiple currencies into a single currency in a report, you can also do that, as long as you bring your conversion rates into our, you upload your conversion rates into our platform. We can then take those conversion rates, apply that, and report out on, let's say, you've got British pounds, euros, and US dollar in in multiple plans, and you want to roll all of that up into a single USD specific report, you can do that in our platform.
Perfect. And speaking on that, if I'm an agency with multiple clients and my clients are using the platform, how do I control what data they can see?
Yeah, great question, and it's always a good one because security is top of mind for a lot of folks. We have roles based access control, which means admins within our platform, be it guideline admins or client admins, can restrict access to basically anything in the platform for users within their organization. So, for example, if you have a team that is uh, focused on the LATAM market and you don't want them to see the Canadian market information, we can go ahead and set up groups that will restrict access for anybody that's in the LATAM group. They won't see the Canadian market group. And this kind of applies across multiple clients as well, right? For example, if you're an agency or a holding company and you're working on a CPG client and you've got, CPG client A and CPG client B, if you want to set them up in the same database, you can do that, and you can apply restrictions to say these people have access to CPG client A and these people have access to CPG client B. There will never be overlap between the two, and therefore you can keep those kind of clients separated. If you also want to firewall them, so to speak, you can set up individual databases for CPG client A versus CPG client B. So we've got a lot of different ways to handle security, but core to our platform is roles-based access.
So we actually have another question that came in for us, David, and it says, can all the fields be locked into pull down lists to avoid creative freeforming?
Um, Technically, yes, we do have that capability. Um, but we also know that sometimes freeform text is needed. And so we allow that flexibility. If you don't want to use freeform text, we can definitely set things up so everything is a drop down, everything has a very specific lookup value. Or if you want to allow for freeform text, you can go ahead and do that.
Perfect. And a bit of a follow-up to that, David, we have, is there an external tool to manage list values?
There is there is some amount of um, external management. It's all done. It's not external in that it's a completely separate application. It's all done in platform. So you do have the ability as a client administrator to manage those drop down values, those lookup values. There are some that, due to the complexity of how our systems interact with each other, there are some that we highly recommend you work with our support team to maintain. But we do have some self-service capabilities. It's again all in platform, and we are continuing to expand that to allow the clients to manage their own drop downs and the data held there.
Perfect. So following up on that, and everyone, please keep those questions rolling. These are all some great, great pieces for us to review live with you guys. If my approval process is different for each client today, can I create different approval sequences in the platform?
Yes, absolutely. You can absolutely create different approval sequences for different clients. You can create them for different markets if you need to. But the long and short of it is yes, you can create different approval sequences, and you can set, however many approvers are needed. Um, and you can also, allow for batch approvals as well. But yes, short answer, yeah.
Perfect. So that was our final question, but we'll give everybody another moment to send in any remaining thoughts you might have or any questions that were sparked by our discussion. And thank you for all the questions thus far. And thank you for answering these for us, David.
Absolutely. All right.
So it looks like on our end, we're good to go. And
Cool.
obviously, of course, we'll make sure if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at marketing@guideline.ai, and we'll make sure we'll get you connected to all our other industry experts along with David and connect you with folks that can help you answer these questions and really set you guys on the next right path for your media planning management.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, David. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And we'll see you at the next one.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone.